Colin, what exactly does longevity risk mean for retirees, and why should we be caring right now?
So why now? First is people are living a lot longer. So since 1925 to 2025, the average American is living 26 years longer. So that means that from a longevity risk perspective, their retirement portfolio has to last longer. It has to last long enough to account for that longer living in retirement.
And what about volatility risk? How can this derail a retirement plan?
Well, volatility is real, and it has its impacts on all retirees. And so, Greg, what people think about volatility as like downward returns, it also refers to upward returns. Like volatility is the fluctuations in the market. People only think about the down markets. Morningstar did a study and said if there's a down market early in your retirement, the first 5 years, you have a 60% chance of running out of money in retirement. It's significant. So if volatility hits you early, it has an outsized impact on your success in retirement.
And what about inflation risk? We keep hearing that prices are going down. However, ordinary Americans, they don't seem to be seeing it.
Yeah. So ordinary Americans don't, but retirees do. So currently we have like a 3% inflation. Interesting to note because the average portfolio return is around 7.5%. Equities get you 10, but bonds get you 4, maybe some alternative investments in there. The average portfolio gets you around 7.5. Take 3% out of that, it has an outsized impact. But that's not the big thing, Greg. In retirement, the things that retirees spend money on is where inflation is hitting hardest. Common grocery items like bread, eggs, milk, up 50% in the last 5 years. So that's not 3%. That's a whole lot more than that. Healthcare costs astronomically rising. So the place where the retirees spend all their money is where inflation is hitting hardest, which is why it's such a big risk in retirement.
Another risk that people hear about is emotion risk. What does this actually mean, and why do we lump this with financial risk?
Yeah. So emotion risks mean people tend to do the wrong thing at the wrong time. And what that means specifically is that if the market gets really volatile, going down, people tend to make the wrong decisions. They sell when the market's cheap and they buy when the market's really expensive. And that has, again, these lasting impacts on people's success in retirement. One thing to note, Greg, is longevity impacts inflation. Inflation impacts volatility. Volatility impacts emotion. Like each one of these things build off of each other, which again is the whole importance of why we look at retirement through this lens of LIVE, live.
And then finally, okay, we've talked about all the risks for retirees. So can you talk about strategies so advisors can help their clients live a better life in retirement and not worry so much about these risks?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is assess those risks as it relates to a particular client. One or two, or maybe all four of them will be like really present or prevalent on a particular client's mind. And so then you take those risks and you maybe figure out how to transfer some of them to someplace else. Insurance companies do a really good job with offering non-reducing lifetime income. That's a big deal to handle these inflation risks, handle these longevity risks. You get guaranteed non-reducing income for life. And so transfer some of these risks is strategy one. Two is like this old idea of make sure you're really well diversified, make sure people stick to the plan. And then lastly is there's this idea that Vanguard has put forth called the Advisor's Alpha, that advisors add about 3% in overall return to clients' portfolios over time. And so what that means is they offer coaching and psychological conversations when the market gets really volatile and their emotion gets really high. They help them stay invested and keep focused on the long-term plan.
All right, well, thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Thanks, Greg.